Here's what's making news now around Indiana, brought to you by your Indiana Pacers. Well, the Knox County Council is considering major tax abatement for Terre Haute-based Sunrise Coal Company. The Vincennes Sun commercial reporting the company plans to invest $60 million to expand its Oaktown operations and add up to 60 jobs. Meantime, White Stallion Energy in Evansville says it plans to close its Warwick County operation, and that will affect about 80 workers. Minnesota-based KGP Telecommunications has detailed plans for a major workforce reduction in Warsaw. In a notice to the state, the company says a sudden decrease in business resulted in the decision to lay off about 300 employees. The new appropriations bill signed by President Donald Trump includes a major designation for Indiana's top tourist destination. The bill includes a provision that officially turns the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore into the state's first national park. And the Indiana Chamber of Commerce has released its list of the best places to work in Indiana. This year's list features 125 companies throughout the state, including more than 40 that were not on the list last year. Well, a bill is in the works that would bring more movie, TV, and video production to Indiana. Proponents of the film and media production rebate legislation stress it is a jobs and economic development bill, saying they are tired of losing out to surrounding states. Now, get this. Supporters believe Indiana has lost out on at least $80 million in film and media business since 2016. And most recently, the Netflix $50 million Madam Walker TV series. For more, let's talk now with Indianapolis Film Commissioner Teresa Sabatine and the American screenwriter, producer, and director, Angelo Pizzo. And welcome to the program.
Hi.
I'll start with you first, Teresa. In terms of this bill, it's a rebate. It's a different path, a different ask of the legislature. Give us in a nutshell what you're asking in terms of the incentive.
Yes, so a rebate versus a tax credit means that the production has to spend the money before they receive the percentage back. And so what we're looking at is a 20% rebate on in-state spend in the state, and then a 30% workforce rebate. So that means that if you hire locally in Indiana, you get 30% on that workforce spend.
The bill has received a hearing, not a vote yet, but what's been the reaction from legislators?
We're pretty excited actually about what we're feeling over there. We've had some exceptionally robust conversations. We're getting really great questions. We feel like we've been able to educate over the 2 years that we've been trying to get this done, and that the Senate fiscal leaders are kind of next on our list, and we'll be visiting them soon. Yeah,
Angelo, well known in the movie business and among many movies, Hoosiers and Rudy. And we were talking in the social media lounge. You said today if you had to do Rudy and Hoosiers, you wouldn't be able to do it.
No, we would be fiscally irresponsible because in states like Illinois with 25% tax credit, Kentucky with 25% tax credit, and Ohio with 30%, we would be giving away 30 cents on a dollar if we shot Hoosiers or Rudy here in this state. Wow. So it would be very unfortunate if we had a movie called Hoosiers all shot in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. But you talk about this being really a jobs and economic development, type thing, and the fact that Indiana stories, I mentioned Madam Walker, among others, are not being told here.
That's right. We've been told anecdotally how many times that people travel over the world. And we're talking about governors who tell me that people always bring up the movies Hoosiers and Rudy and Breaking Away. Right. And they're part of the iconography and the culture and perception of who people are in this state. Well, are not able to tell those stories anymore. And it's really unfortunate because I think we take great pride in those movies.
What could this mean from an economic development standpoint? I mean, just generally speaking, especially as I look at it in some rural areas of the state as well, many of them that need help, that could potentially benefit, I assume. Yeah,
so you're looking at business that we could be recruiting from Illinois right over the border. So northern Indiana would be, southern Indiana is beautiful on its own if we're looking at French Lick, right? There's great opportunity there. We already get requests for filming there. But when you look at the economics of it, and Tennessee's a great example because they're a rebate program, that's $91 million into their small businesses over a few years of just having this infrastructure in place. So Nashville, they saw $480 million in tourism spending associated with their bill and what they were doing with programming. So these aren't small numbers, and we really want the Indiana stories out there.
And Angela, we should point out too, we think of movies and film, but digital media content is so pervasive now and so much larger than it was obviously just a few years ago.
Right. There are over 500 television series on the air, streaming or direct. Netflix and Amazon spend twice as much as the studios combined.
Wow.
There are $300 billion worth of content spend in this country alone that we're not getting any of.
Yeah.
And I'll point out that there are states like Georgia, which started off with a 20% tax credit, and the economic impact was so great, they kept on raising it, and now they're up to 30.
Wow.
And there are more movies shot in Georgia than there are in California.
Right. So as we wrap up, 10 seconds, you don't know where it's going, obviously, but do you feel good about the reception that this bill is getting?
Yeah, we feel very positive. We think it aligns very well with Eric Holcomb's next level opportunities for Indiana. This is really thinking about the future, where everything's kind of going, and how we can create innovative jobs in the state.
All right. Teresa Sabatine, Angelo Pizzo, thank you both very much. We'll be following the story.
Thank you.